Hey guys, this is Eve. Thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. This channel is dedicated to exploring various topics of the metaphysics and looking at them from a very occult standpoint. Um, I really, in this video, want to focus on a very serious topic. I have been away for a while, what have you, in the matrix, trying to kind of ground myself. A lot of the information that I explore, really ungrounds my ego. So I really have to spend a lot of time trying to, I guess what you would say, really just come back down to earth, so to speak. As you guys can see, I have my friend here. Her name is Salome, right? So that's a very biblical name if you didn't already know. She is beautiful. She is a ball python. I've had Salome since, I bought her 4 months ago or so, I would believe. And she is a beautiful woman. I like to, refer to my pets a lot of times as babies, like my dog Chewy. He's an evil little fucker, but Salome is, very much has my respect. In the occult, we very much respect, snakes, because they represent healing and wisdom. Ball pythons in particular in Egypt, a lot of the pharaohs, they would wear them as jewelry and necklaces and bracelets and so forth. And so, she's a very inquisitive lady. She is gorgeous. She is the embodiment of feminine power, which is very much feared in the Matrix. And so a lot of people are afraid of Salome. A lot of people I encounter, they don't want to be around her. And it's very sad, but the feminine principle is very much suppressed in the Matrix because of its power and the fact that it could actually destroy this world. It's associated with terrorism and ISIS. ISIS, or what have you, the Egyptian, goddess Isis is associated with terrorism. I know, right? And so that feminine power of Jews, the feminine power of holiness, or whatever the case is something that people fear. They fear it. And so our world is coming to, I guess what you would say, a reckoning of, reconciling the feminine and the masculine energy together. Okay? And embracing the feelings and the emotions with the psychological mind. So, she is a very, like I said, to me, snakes are very much an embodiment of that feminine power coming back. Salome is a very, very inquisitive girl. She's very nosy. She's not like typical ball pythons or whatnot. She drinks a lot. They say ball pythons, they only drink like once a week or something like that. But she drinks every day like a fish, to be honest with you. Salome is, I don't know. She's just, she doesn't eat like once a week like most ball pythons. She eats once every 2 weeks. Or she might even spend longer bouts of time without eating. But I really love her. I really think that she is a really look at her kind of peeking out there. She's like, what's going on? So I have a lot of respect for her. And now that I'm very empathic, I very much am in tune with her needs and things like that, if you will. So we communicate very well, so to speak. So like I said, the topic is very serious, and I try to make light of it. A lot of things in the occult is very disgusting, is very serious, is very frightening to the ego. And so I really try to kind of put more lightheartedness onto it, just for the sake of just calming people, right? Calming your nerves about the things that I talk about. I really had to distance myself a lot from different spiritual teachers and what I call false prophets of the New Age, or Illuminati, people who are responsible for illuminating our souls to information that doesn't really serve us. If information is not serving you personally, then it's not in your best interest. And so for that reason, I've definitely tried to kind of distance myself and just kind of do my own thing and really focus on myself more so now and trying to get my ego back. So Salome is trying to destroy my flowers here or what have you. She's hilariously funny. She's been very active lately. I don't know what her issue is, but she's like, I don't want to stay in my cage. I want to be in bed with you and hang out and that type of thing. So anywho, I want to talk about the concept that many of you are familiar with, especially when it comes to the Black conscious community, which is, what is it? The 144,000, okay? The 144,000 concept. So I've got a lot of information, a lot of intel through my channelings as it pertains to the 144,000, okay? Now, the 144,000 pertains to a very small population of people who are considered to be chosen, okay? To be chosen is to be a sacrifice, okay? And so they talk up to be chosen as something that is very much like a positive thing, but it's not. It deals a lot with blood, okay? With blood. The chosen 144,000 concept or what have you is a small population of what you would call Black Jews, okay? And so I would be one of them. I would be one of them, and I know, right? Me saying that, it's like, oh my gosh, how dare you classify yourself as somebody who is, you know, unique or whatever the case is, and, you know, just, you know, referring back to the allegorical depiction of the story of Jesus and how he was actually persecuted for associating himself with the Father. So that's okay. I don't really care what people think about me. You know, if you had a life, really, to be honest with you, you wouldn't have to judge. But because you don't have a life, you have time to judge. And so as a result, so be it. I'm actually willing to expose the powers that be that are, you know, really just down for judgment, and not those who actually want to reach a higher taxonomy of knowledge to explore the whys and the hows of how judgments came to be. Okay, so really, if you're in the, you know, realm of judgment, then you're really in the realm of what you would call stupidity, and also being, you know, just downright just dumb, you know, and I feel bad for you. So that's okay. And now one thing, and that's a spiritual attack, and one thing I want to tell you, spiritual attacks are for people that they're intended for. If you're not actually upset by what I said, you're not going to respond to it. But if you are upset and it applies to you, then yes, that is for you. And so therefore, I strongly suggest that you don't expose yourself. So with that being said, the 144,000 corresponds to Jews, Black Jews, people who are melanated and considered to be sacrifices in this particular incarnation. And so these Black Jews, or what you would call negatives, are RH negatives, okay? So, like for example, you can go online and order a blood test or what have you that you could do at home. Like this is my blood, okay? I'm embodying a lot of Scorpio here. I have a stellium in my 8th house, and my sun is Scorpio, right, in my Vedic chart. So I know guys are like, you know, if you're squeamish about blood or what have you, you may not, you know, you may be a little bit, oh my gosh, where's she going? You may be a little bit, I guess what you would say, caught off guard. She is just like, she gets really tangled up in my in my chair. Salome is a busy girl nowadays. So you know, as far as it pertains to, you know, RH negative blood, RH negative blood actually lacks a lot of protein, okay? It lacks a certain protein. The blood is more alkaline, it's colder. And so the more you reincarnate, the more you lose the protein in your blood. It doesn't matter what, I guess you would say, race you are embodying, because a lot of times blood types are associated with certain races, right? RH negatives are actually associated more with European races. So you could say that, you know, the Black Jews are unique hybrids, so to speak, okay? We represent a very ancient, I guess what you would say, population. Okay, so these are souls that existed during the time of Atlantis, Lemuria, Egypt, fallen civilizations, and so forth. Okay, so we carry a lot of wealth of information. And so, because of that, it's a very dangerous situation for the powers that be that govern our reality. And so, I don't want to come off as being like pompous, or want to come off as, not being modest per se or what have you, but I don't have very much ego left. So people who have very much ego left, they don't care about talking the truth, no matter how it makes them look as an ego. Okay. So, I have to watch out for Salome's, for her head. She's such a cutie. Can I have a kiss? Come on me. So, with that being said, so the 144,000 are very much melanated beings, black beings that have the Rh negative, blood. And like I said, the blood actually lacks a protein, okay, in it. And so, some people would consider us to be snakes or cold-blooded, all right? Now, just to tell you a little bit about, Rh negatives that are melanated, we are more susceptible to be actually taken over by what people would consider to be demons or demonic possession. Okay, this goes back to the Red Cross. When you go to the Red Cross, right, you actually donate blood or you receive blood. It is something, they look at the Rh negative. Okay, Rh negative is very rare, and so people who actually who give blood or whatever, you have to ask yourself, why is it referring as a cross? And so people who are in the Rh negative factor, they are, I guess what you would say, what should I say? You are, you can be crossed with your subconscious mind, okay? With the subconscious. And so most people, we can actually hide the subconscious or control the subconscious. And so this is a dark place. Remember, our society, our world is based upon darkness. You have an ego. You can't really say what you want to say or do what you want to do. And so that creates darkness. And so that dark aspect of yourself doesn't go anywhere. It becomes archonic energy that you will meet when you actually die. Okay? You'll actually meet that aspect of yourself, the dark aspect of yourself. And they purposely keep that part of us away from ourselves so they can crucify us. And so we are the crucifixion. So this whole 144,000 is just for you to get crucified, to actually have your subconscious self beat you, right? And to actually bring you to judgment, okay? Which is a low taxonomy of knowledge or whatnot, but not necessarily getting to the nooks and crannies of how you are crucified and what brought that subconscious aspect of you out. Corona itself, coronavirus, because we're still in a way kind of like in quarantine, so to speak. Corona has a lot of significance as it pertains to the elite that created this disgusting virus. Corona refers to the crown, so your crown chakra. So our crown chakra is actually exacerbated, if you will, with the thinking mind, with fear. Fear is always thinking what could possibly happen, what has happened, what is happening, what could possibly happen. So it embellishes the crown chakra. So that's the whole purpose of Corona, to actually give you a crown of thorns, right? Alluding back to the allegorical depiction of Jesus, right? Christ with a crown of thorns, ascending your consciousness away from your inheritance, which is your mula. Mula means money, or your mula dahara, your root chakra, right? And taking away that root and pushing it towards the crown, okay? Pushing it away from your root, from your soul, from your solar plexus. And the occult, solar means sun, and solar is the son of God. Oh, you're so beautiful. So beautiful. So, yeah, so pushing us away from our souls and actually making us governed by the subconscious mind. So this is when you get to the pineal. My pineal gland is on steroids at this point. This is when you get to the crown chakra. You become totally psycho, so to speak. I know, right? I'm like telling on myself. It's like, she's psycho. Yes, I am. Psycho meaning that, I make a lot of connections, if you will, in terms of the occult. But that's what revelation is about. The thing is that once your consciousness reaches pineal, you can actually put together information that's been disseminated throughout your entire incarnation into a revelation. So when you look at the metaphysics of the Bible or what have you, this is what happens. Consciousness becomes crowned. Okay? And so you actually see the totality of existence as opposed to being, grounded and more corresponding to your feeling and your emotional aspect of yourself. Okay? So with that being said, your RH negatives are to be crucified, and your melanated RH negatives, okay? Because melanin is needed to, I guess what you would say, to create, to actually, I guess what you would say, if the DNA is activated or what have you, it's needed to create and destroy, I should say. Okay, so you can think of RH negatives, black RH negatives, 144,000 concept is like bombs, like nuclear bombs actually walking around. So, like, for example, like if you've seen, what is it? Like Stephen King's Carrie, or like Frozen from Disney, or like Ghost with Patrick Swayze. Like, they have a lot of information, esoteric information, hidden in plain sight, as it pertains to if the emotional body is actually penetrated in a certain way, it can move matter. And so they don't want God to be realized here on earth. The All-Father prayer says, on earth as it is in heaven, thy will be done. The soul, the solar plexus is your will. It's responsible for your will and creativity. So your will should be done on earth as it is in heaven. So many people are walking around the matrix or what have you with their desires in heaven, but not brought down to the soul, to the solar plexus, to the sacral chakra, where they can exercise their will. Okay, and so we are kept away from ourselves until that has actually, been done to a point where we have to make a connection to ourselves, and it results in judgment because there's an imbalance there. Okay. So the cross, the red cross, is the cross of these RH negatives for our demise, to get rid of us. I hear spiritual teachers and people like that saying, well, there's no recollection of the Jews or what have you. It's like, excuse me? If they shot your fucking nose off of the Sphinx, right? If they shot your nose off of the Sphinx or what have you, what makes you think that you would find something more than a shard? So, it's time for Ra to meet Isis, because, this kind of goes into false truths. The thing is that if you are a spiritual teacher and you're doing research based upon what you have found in the matrix and you can't go beyond it, then you will forever be in hell. You'll forever be in hell. Okay? Because, going back to how, like, in Nazi Germany, how they actually, got people to kill Jews, right? What they considered to be Jews during that time. They did so by dominating the 5 senses, which you can see, taste, touch, smell, and hear. So whatever you're reading and researching has actually been made for you. It's a trap. You have to go beyond it. It's like, for example, a false truth. Like, say, for example, when you're born and your mother, like, say I'm your mother and I say, you know what, the sky is blue, but the sky is not blue, it's red. But everybody says it, all facets of the matrix, your media and entertainment, movies and music, and your family, your familial structure says it. When you go to church, they're saying it in school. But what if the sky really isn't blue? What if it's red? You will know no different, because everybody is saying it's blue and you don't have any connection to yourself outside of the matrix. So as a result, you look like a fool to Isis. Ra looks like a fool to Isis. You look stupid. And so that's not to really make you feel bad per se, but it's to actually shock you out of your world of disgustingness and research, to really see the truth beyond what you can see, taste, touch, smell, and hear. So, as RH negatives, especially me, I'm a B negative, right? We represent, as a black person, like less than 1% of the population. So you're looking at someone who is not common, who is what you would call, quote unquote, a freak of nature. That's why I don't get a lot of hits on my channel and so forth, because this information is intended for the few. There's an upper room and then there's a lower room, okay? And so therefore, I'm a part of the upper room. And since I'm a part of the upper room, your consciousness can't necessarily conceive of the information that I'm talking about. It's like a baby. When a baby is born or what have you, the baby doesn't have the prerequisites to, say, drive a car. You're trying to teach a baby how to drive a car. It's like, oh, I can't, I don't know how to drive a car. I don't have the motor skills. I don't have the prerequisite knowledge. I just can't do that. And so some people, they can't drive a car when it comes to the occult, when it comes to metaphysics and that type of thing, because they don't have the prerequisite knowledge. They're still in the matrix. They're still searching for truth based on what they can see, taste, touch, smell, and hear, what they can read. What you can read means nothing when you die. When you die, you will see my face. And I know it's scary. But the thing about it is that it's the truth. Your research will mean nothing when your ass is on the slab. So with that being said, Corona represents the imbalance of consciousness, crucifying consciousness and pushing it to the crown, past the pineal gland, away from your moolah dahara, or your root. And so everybody's about the root here, trying to find their roots. Your roots is the body. And so the body has been taken away from us. So that's why we're all into food, and we're all into sex, and we're all into, these aspects of gratifying the body, because there's a memory that exists of when we had dominion over the body. But now this is pushed into the mind, okay? So this actually precipitates a reincarnation or what have you, trying to get access to the body, okay? The Jedi, okay? So, this is why I'm actually holding Selon. I'm holding her because she represents the body. She represents femininity at its, at its peak, if you will. She is love. She is the shit. And Salome, she knows this. So, I really aspire to be like her. Wise as serpents, but innocent as doves. Ball pythons, they're non-venomous, so she's innocent. She can't kill you. She knows this. She's very smart. People are like, what if she bites you? Well, she knows if she bites me that I can actually cut her head off, right? So she's like, we'll be doing that. But at the same time, she's like, oh, I have respect. And so I'm going to, if I do have an opportunity to do something to you, I'm going to do it when I can. Okay, as opposed to I guess what you would say, when it's not convenient for me, type of thing. So as far as what is it, I guess if you would say sacrifices 144,000. This is connected in astrology to the sign of Pisces. Now, in order to understand the information in this video, you're going to have some prerequisites. When it comes to astrology is wise. Even the Bible said that Jesus was found by his star, the wise men. So it's telling you that astrology is wise. Whenever you're born, your natal chart is actually logged by Rome. That's why when you're born, the first thing that they do, like when my daughter was born, the first thing that they said is, what time is it? So your time of birth is very important to the energies that represent who you are. Okay, when you're first born, you're actually more in the embodiment of your Western sign. The way that the powers that be work is that they actually create our reality based upon Western astrology. And so this is a difference. There's a difference between Western astrology and what is it? Vedic astrology. So I follow Vedic astrology now because I'm embodying my Vedic sign. So when you're actually after your Saturn return, you'll start to embody the other aspect, the Eastern aspect of yourself, as opposed to the Western, right? Going back to Adam and Eve in the East and the West part of, of the garden and so forth. And so there's like a 23-degree difference as it pertains to these two schools of astrology. So it's like square and circle. So that's why we get reincarnated. We're trying to reconcile ourselves to Western reality, when inside in our inner reality or in an inner universe is more of a, I guess what you would say, Eastern aspect. Okay. And so, like, for example, if you see, false prophets of the New Age, like one of them that I like to definitely point out is Ralph Smart with Infinite Waters. He is so funny. If he's not, it's not, but it is. Oh, look, Salome is giving you guys a kiss. She's giving you a kiss. Say hi. Say hello, sweetheart. She has a thing for electronics. I guess that's the age of Aquarius within her. So, anywho, Salome is she's a hot mama. She likes hot things like electronics and stuff like that. She's like, heat's over there. You know, she wraps around my neck and she chokes me because she's like, excuse me. She's like, you know, as it pertains to my body heat, I'm a RH negative, and so with RH negative blood, it's not going to be very, very hot. So she's like, I have to get close to you as possible. But with that being said, like, you know, Infinite Waters, the emblem on Ralph Smart's Infinite Waters channel, he has a symbol of Pisces. So Pisces is associated with Jesus or Jesus Christ in the occult or sacrifice. These are your 144,000. Okay. And so Ralph Smart, when he talks about Infinite Waters, he's talking about destroying the masculine aspect and killing you, making you totally spiritual. All right. Killing the ego. That's why he talks about raising the frequency. Raising means goes to the pineal and to the crown chakra, as opposed to actually giving you your inheritance this lifetime, which is the moolah. Moolah means money, your moolah dahar, taking you from your root and raising your frequency to an imbalance state. Okay. I'm not supposed to be able to read auras or what have you, or go into people's subconscious aspect, but I'm a psychic. So when I get into people's force fields, I can feel them as myself. And so I can actually, in a way, feel, you know, who they are and really gain access to who they are and their totality and their totality of their incarnations, as opposed to just how they're appearing to me as an ego. Okay? This is very frightening for people. And so that's why I've been doing a lot to try to ground myself so people won't feel necessarily uneasy around me. It impacts me in very negative ways. You know, it can impact me in my job. It impacts me, you know, with just people I meet randomly and stuff like that. People just automatically feel uneasy. But one thing about Pisces is Pisces and Pisces ascendants, we don't judge people. You know, if I see like in a past life you've been a murderer or whatever the case is, or a child molester or a rapist or whatever the case is, we don't judge. This is what it means in the occult to actually accept Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. So, you know, the thing is that we actually judge the one that created rape. We actually judge the one that created murder. We actually, you know, judge the one that created, you know, whatever the case is, theft, you know, stealing from people, whatever the case is. So we're all the creations here. And so we're actually born here to destroy the creator. And the creator is actually connected to Rome. Okay. And so we know who the head of Rome is. So I'm not going to get too much into that per se. But, you know, we're all made who we are. Before the age of 7, a child is in a slower brainwave state. Our subconscious is being created. And basic psychology teaches you that the subconscious governs the conscious mind. Like, you know, I guess what you would say, what a Christian or Catholic Jesuits, they would say, if you give me the child or whatever before the age of 7, I'll give you the man. And so the man is judged, but it was the child that was created by the creator, so the creator needs to be judged. But he always seems to get off King James of Scotland free. King James of Scotland. So, you are so cute. Oh, I just love Salome. But anywho, you know, it's time for the creator to be brought to judgment. It's time for the creator to be brought to judgment. This is ISIS. This is a holy war. For some people watching this would be absolutely frightening to you. Just the actual sheer look of me will be frightening to you. Because if you can see through me, you can see that I look nothing like the way that I'm appearing on this film right now. And so that's something that is spiritual. If you take that literally, then this video is definitely not for you. You know, but the things that I talk of or what have you, you will meet upon your death. So, you know, it's kind of like in the Bible where Jesus is talking to, what is it, Nicodemus, right? And so a master of Israel. And he says, if I speak to you of earthly things, What makes you think that you'll understand heavenly things? And many of you are not in the realm, and I have not accessed a certain dimension to actually to really process heavenly things. And so people like me, you call us crazy, and you call us blasphemy and witches and occultists, or whatever the names are. You judge, and because you judge, you are quite stupid, because judgment is the what, but why and how is when you reach higher taxonomies of knowledge. And the type of knowledge that I've accessed, actually according to my natal chart, I haven't not seen a natal chart as of yet that's as fucked up as mine and polarized with stellium. So because of that, you need to actually accept your stupidity, and you need to really truly accept the fact that you are not in a realm, and you can't play in the court that I play in. You can already sense that, and so that's fine for me. You know, the only reason why I come so hard at this was because I have so many people that want to destroy and want to discredit or what have you. Oh, Salome, you have to get out of this. She's like, I want to escape. It's like, no, you can't. She is so funny. All right, so with that being said, what is it? You know, I mean, that's for some people who might be upset and mad or whatever the case is, but, you know, I like spiritual discourse. You know, I don't believe in deleting people's content off of my channel because it doesn't agree with what I feel. You know, I can't stand, you know, spiritual teachers that are like, oh, my channel got, you know, deleted, and, you know, content got deleted off of my channel, but I'm delete your content off of my channel. You look like a hypocritical Egyptian Pharisee. You mean nothing. You are nothing in the eyes of someone who's like me. And so, you know, a blood type like mine that's B negative, that's actually, you know, less than 1% of the population, you look common, actually. And so that's okay. You know, that's okay. That's all right. You know, but I just don't like when people think that they're pompous and that they're above judgment, but they can judge others. You know, and then when they're judged and they're upset, it looks pathetic and it looks disgusting. So, you know, I really want to, you know, focus on, like, you know, false prophets of the new age, like Ralph Smart, and people who actually have channels that are designed to actually destroy the 144,000. You know, like he's always advocating raising the frequency or taking you away from your Muladhara, your soul, your solar plexus, which is Jesus in the occult. Remember, your solar plexus is responsible for your will, what you desire, what you want to do. This is why we see Jesus with his heart in chains, right? He's often depicted that, the allegorical depiction of Jesus. And so, like Ralph Smart is always talking about, like, the vegan diet. If you have a Rh negative blood type, which lacks protein, you definitely need a high protein diet. If somebody is advocating that you have a low protein diet, they want you dead. They want you dead. And they'll do it with a smile. Raising the frequency. Raising the vibration. That means getting away from, that's Hitler. This is Hitler. This is somebody who actually wants to make money off of you. Raising the frequency. You see what I'm saying? Taking you away from your mullah, for your Muladhara, so you can make money for him, as opposed to actually money for yourself. And so the false prophets, they seem very loving and angelic. They're very deceptive, very disgusting, and very evil. And so this goes back to Leviathan. Like, if you think about the whole concept of Leviathan, Leviathan is a sea monster. A sea monster is, you know, the sea, or I would say the water, represents the emotions. So they just want to bring you into a mainly emotional state so you could actually neglect the psychological masculine aspect of yourself. So you could be crucified. If you're more emotional and not very psychological and masculine, then you will be a sacrifice. And so this is what they want. When I was observing a vegan diet, I started to actually not be able to reconcile people's egos with their astral self or their subconscious self. And so because of that, people, you know, I couldn't really, I guess what you would say, deal with the world and deal with reality. You know, I had a girlfriend one time or whatnot. She was I've been friends with her for years, like 10 years or whatever the case is. And so she started actually, when I would look into her aura, she would be calling me the N-word. But outwardly, she'd be like, oh, I love black people. Black people are wonderful. But then she'd be calling me the N-word. And so how do you reconcile that? You know that she's not going to actually, I guess what you would say, confess. You know what I mean? And this is somebody that I spent so much of my life and my time with. And to actually be called the N-word by this person was very hurtful. And so Infinite Waters is designed to actually put you in touch with the subconscious mind so you can actually, receive access to information like that, which actually destroys you and crucifies you. Right? Wouldn't it be best if you just didn't know? Right? But when you actually observe a vegan diet, especially if you're an RH negative and you represent a small fraction of the population, right? Especially if you're black, then you will start to gain access to the dark side of people's personalities. And this will put you against your friends, your family, co-workers, bosses, whatever the case may be. I'm an occultist. The occultist, we deal with the unseen world. We don't deal with the, I guess the world of the superficial, right? And so if you look at my natal chart, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But this is sacrifices. They want to make us sacrifices. This is the Illuminati, the illuminated. So they illuminate you. They actually indoctrinate you with Western astrology, which is, lies, right? The outer reality. But they illuminate you to Eastern or Vedic astrology, which is the inner reality. And so you actually start to actually fight yourself. And they get a good, nice, tasty meal off of saying that. The blood of Jesus. So wonderful. It makes them feel better. The elite. The disgusting elite that have to have 23 passwords to do their dirt in the dark. But they want to, what's the word? Prostrate? Is that the right word? They want to put you out there, right? And then, crucify you. But they don't want to be crucified. So hypocritical. So what you would call self-righteous and Pharisee. Right? Right? Yeah. Isn't that right? Say. Salon. She's so gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I wish I could be her. I'm so jealous. So, I really, let's see. I want to make sure that I talk about everything that I want to here, because this is a serious topic. The 144,000, the fact that we are sacrifices or chosen sacrifices, that our blood lacks protein, and so because of that, they promote doctrines or what have you, and diets or whatnot that lacks this protein to keep us in touch with the more spiritual realm, although we're expected to be physical and live a physical life. And so it's designed to actually take away your physical life. Like Ralph Smart, he's always talking about, we're going toward this new earth. The new earth is a new body for you. It's reincarnation. So the powers that be can actually stay in power. And they want to wipe us, the Jews, or this hybrid race, right? I would be considered to be a hybrid. So they want to actually rid the society of this hybrid race, superficially speaking, and wipe us from society. If they wipe and they actually shoot our noses, like I said, off of a sphinx, what makes you think that you're going to find something more than a single shard? You're not going to find anything. And so they want to get rid of us because they don't want to respect us, because you have to respect gods. You have to respect people who have the potential to actually have their DNA activated. When the DNA is activated, then there's nothing that you can do. You have to praise these types of individuals. And so you have to make sure that that power is not realized, that the telekinetic power that people actually have and the telepathy that people have, that has to be dormant. It has to be junk DNA. You can't access, more than 10% of your mind, right? That would be too powerful. We don't want you to be Lucy or Lucifer, right? We want you to be dumb and stupid so we can stay in power, right? Makes us feel better and safer. But you know what they say, fear is the opposite of love. Right, Stella? So with that being said, I think for the most part, that's what I want to talk about, the 144,000. melanated Rh negatives, the Red Cross, and how we are crossed with our subconscious when we lack protein in our blood. And it represents old souls from Lemuria and Atlantis and Egyptian souls. Talks a little bit about me and being a negative, right? What is it? Talking about corona and the imbalance of consciousness and how Rh negatives are taken from our moolah or our money, right? As Jews, our money is taken away from us. And we're pushed into the subconscious aspect and governed by the subconscious, which does not have the best interests of the ego. Talked about infinite waters and how his symbol represents Pisces, which is Pisces is associated with Jesus and Jesus Christ. And sacrifices and how we are sacrifices as empaths. It said Jesus took on the sins of the world, right? So a sin is not something that's tangible. You can't see, taste, touch, smell, or hear a sin. And so it's metaphysical. And since it's metaphysical, I can actually tap into people's auras. I can tell you exactly who you are past the physical realm. If the third eye allows it. And so that's frightening to people. And people are literally frightened of me for that. And that's okay. I don't judge, but people judge themselves. And so therefore, I don't really care anything about it. I just try to stay in my own lane. I have my own hell to raise. I don't have time to worry about your hell. And believe me, some of you are in it. And that's what you will have to look forward to upon your death. So, just want to talk about infinite waters, the Muladhara, how we're, constantly taken away from our money, our moolah, reincarnated to a new earth, right? Eckhart Tolle. The vegan diet, how you should not be observing a vegan diet, because your diet lacks protein. The more protein, the better for Rh negatives, especially melanated. The difference between Western and Eastern astrology and how that pertains to Rh negatives, how we're wiped from history, or they're trying to wipe us from history. And also, like I said, the main thing is false truths, how we are actually taught lies in the matrix, right? We're taught that the sky is the sky is blue, but it's really red, and you think it's blue because everybody tells you when you come out the womb that it's blue. All facets of the matrix, your familiar structure, your churches, your religions, your movies, entertainment and so forth, your governments or what have you. But if you can't actually get in touch with Isis, which is beyond this physical realm, into a true intelligence, and your true intelligence comes from within you, then you will be back in hell. Alright guys, so I think that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about, what I wanted to cover, what have you. So I know that I haven't done videos in a while, and some of you follow me on other social platforms or what have you, but I just wanted people to know that, I'm here and I'm still channeling, and, I'm trying to get grounded as much as possible, but it's so difficult, being a part of, less than 1% of the population, and the fact that, it's like a square and circle situation. I'm dealing with Western astrology, but I'm embodying more of my Vedic sidereal, natal chart. Okay, guys, so thanks for watching, and Salome and I, right? Say bye, Salome. Let's see if she wants to show her head. Isn't she a gorgeous lady? Say, I'm so beautiful. Well, we will see you next time.